Office. I know that you have been given information about today's presentation in advance, so we can jump right in and listen to your presentation, and then we'll ask questions.
All right, my name is Sharon Roberson. I'm President and CEO of the YWCA Nashville and Middle Tennessee. A little bit about myself. Before I came into this position a little over 2.5 years ago, a little less than 2.5 years ago, I was also on the board of the organization. And the reason for that is the stellar reputation as well as the mission. The YWCA has been a part of the Nashville community for over 120 years. And our mission is just that, to eliminate racism and empower women. The program that we are asking for support from Metro government, the $355,000, is our domestic violence services. We are the largest provider of domestic violence services in the state of Tennessee, and we are here in Nashville. We take an approach that's very comprehensive in providing our services. We not only have our Weaver Center, which is recently expanded from 51 to 65 beds. And the reason we had to expand it because there was such a need, a growing need for domestic violence emergency safety space in the city of Nashville and the surrounding counties. We also had implemented a lethality assessment program that I will talk to you about more later. And that also made us recognize that we did have a need. At that point, we were turning away more than 50% of those that requested safety shelter beds. And we knew we had to find a solution. The YW acted, and we were able to do this. Now, the $355,000 that we are asking is less than 15% of our domestic violence budget. Our overall budget is $6 million. $2.5 million of that is for domestic violence services, directly for that purpose. So for us, it's huge because it allows us to serve the community. But relative to what we come up with on our own, we more than match what we're asking Metro government to help us with. For 2018, 519 adults and children were served in the Weaver Domestic Violence Center. More importantly, over 7,000 calls we were answered as part of our lethality assessment program and our 24-hour emergency hotline. This is very important because oftentimes women and children do not necessarily need shelter, but they do need advice. And you might wonder what sort of advice. 95% of the people that call leave with a safety plan. The reason these safety plans are so important is that this is the most dangerous time for a woman, is when she is leaving a domestic violence circumstance. Why is this important for Nashville and Tennessee? Because, unfortunately, this is a statistic that Tennessee has to own. We are number 5 in the nation at the rate in which men kill women. That is a Tennessee statistic, and is very, very focused in our urban areas. So that is something that we cannot deny, something we cannot move away from. Also, nationally, 1 in 4 women will be a victim of domestic violence. So we are really a part of an organization in partnership with the government in serving to make sure that those who are victims of domestic violence, which we know are very prolific in our society in Nashville, have a place to go. Now, specifically, what we want to do with this money is this appropriation will fund directly to the services to the people, because we are able to, because of the independent fundraising capabilities of the YW, we have come up with the funding that helps spread the administrative costs. So we don't have to charge administrative costs to Metro. This is so that we can actually safety plan, so we can provide counseling, so we can have the 24-hour crisis line, so we can have the bed space and the food and all those things that we do as part of our domestic violence services. I will say this: we work very closely with the Metro Police Department and the Family Safety Center. And here's the reason why that partnership is so important. I'm going back to the lethality assessment program. What that was is something that was recommended as part of an overall committee review on safety in the city. And one of the recommendations was for Chief Anderson to implement the lethality assessment program, which is a process by which when a police officer is called on a domestic violence case, and they have them, regularly all the time. There's, I think, about an average of 20 a day. When they go on one of those calls, they have a questionnaire that they ask the victim to respond to voluntarily. Based on the responses to that and the scientific data, you can determine whether or not that particular case may become lethal. Based on that information, they can do a warm handoff, and who does that go to? The YWCA 24-hour crisis line. We also were the body that trained all of the police officers in this city. So both the training and the interface goes with the YW. Once that call is taken over, we also interface with the Family Safety Center to help that individual to go through the court system, to provide counseling once they are out of shelter as well as in shelter. And the whole process is a synergy. And the reason this is important is because we need to stop losing lives in this city as a result of domestic violence. And this gives a tool to the police officers rather than just leaving the victim, hoping for the best. We actually train them on the situation they are in and what they can do at a later date or then in order to remain safe. This was really very important. More importantly, and this is just something the YW does that is separate and apart from this funding, but is very important. We realize this is an epidemic of domestic violence. As a result, we have wraparound services that really Metro gets the benefit of that you don't actually have to pay for. So this is really something that we do that's part of our mission. And this includes the Family Learning Center because we do believe that to empower victims of domestic violence, they need to have a better education. They need also to have careers, and we are rolling out an economic empowerment model. This economic empowerment model interfaces with our Dress for Success program, which helps victims of domestic violence move into the workforce. We, of course, have in Metro schools our Men Together program and our Girls Inc. program because we do believe we have to train young people in the community to possibly get ahead of some of these issues involving domestic violence. So in a nutshell, all of those other wraparound services that really we're hoping to really get a handle on this epidemic of domestic violence in the community, we do anyway. What we're asking for your help on is those emergency services, our 24-hour crisis line, the lab protocol enforcement, as well as the domestic violence center beds. In a nutshell, that's where we are.
That's a lot.
I know it's a lot, but that's what we do. And I mean, I'm a little background was I was a corporate attorney all of my career, except for when I was a corporate executive. And frankly, the reason I dedicated my time volunteering before I was in this position is because I do think this is a critical mission. And I do think that I want to live in the kind of city. I came to Nashville for the first time to go to Vanderbilt in 1974, went to undergraduate school and law school here, and I want this to be a safe city for women and girls. And that is what we do at the YW.
I know in the past, the funding that we've provided, you've gotten it lots of different ways, but some of it is actually gone through the Family Safety.
Yes,
Office
correct.
of Family Safety. Have you made any assumptions in this request around any continuation funding from Family Safety?
No, we haven't. I think the relationship there will be we have counselors because once people leave our domestic violence center and also some of their family members, we have an individual that's actually stationed there as well as the Gene Crow Advocate Center at both places in order to provide, post-shelter counseling.
Right. Okay. You got anything?
No, it's very clear.
Very clear.
Very
That's what we
clear.
do.
You did a good job. So we appreciate you coming in and visiting.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I have to take any more time than I need because you know what we do and that's what we do.
Covered everything.